The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
All right, welcome. We're glad that you're joining us tonight to learn a little bit about how to transform your life. And I'm Amber Smithson. This is my husband, Jared, and we have been independent certified OPTAVIA coaches for over a decade. These are our pictures that you're looking at right now, and our story really started more than a decade ago when we had little kids at the time. We had been married for 10 years or so, married for a while, and started to put on weight, started to find ourselves tired, overworked, stressed out, and wanted something more in our lives. And for me, it started with a visit to the doctor where I found out that I had high cholesterol, that I had pre-diabetic blood sugar levels, and I already knew that I had no energy. And every time I was going to buy new jeans at the mall, I was going up sizes. And I don't know if you can relate to this, if you have your favorite store in the mall, and all of a sudden you're at the very top of the sizes at that store, and you're like, okay, something's got to give. I either have to get healthy or I have to find a new favorite store. So that's where I found myself, and I started to get dedicated and knew that I wasn't eating right, knew that my habits were way out of line, that I wasn't exercising, I wasn't getting the proper sleep, or I was stressing so much, overworked. And I ended up losing 35 pounds and really started to change my life.
Yeah, so Amber mentioned she lost her weight 15 years ago, about 5 years before we found OPTAVIA. It was actually about the time that I lost my dad. He passed away 15 years ago at age 58, and that was way too young. And so naturally, in a situation like that, you start to think about your own mortality. About a year after that, a little over a year after that, I lost a good friend, and the two of us were 34 years old at the time. And he died of a major heart attack, and left a wife and 3 little kids behind. And so I started to do what I knew best. I was an athlete my whole life, so I went back to exercise. And exercise wasn't as easy being 50 pounds overweight as it was when I was at a healthy weight when I was in high school and college playing competitive basketball, and in high school, 3-sport athlete. And but more importantly than that, I was living this life of silent misery, right? Have you ever had times in your life where you look around and you feel blessed by your family, your relationships, things like that, but you are just not happy? And my lack of happiness was because I knew I could do better, and I knew I wanted to feel better physically. I knew I wanted to feel better mentally and emotionally and spiritually, and we were in a horrible place financially. So that massive amount of stress, I started to look around me and recognize that there were other people who were going through some of the same challenges in life, and they were managing those challenges, and they were going through those challenges a lot more victoriously than I was. And so I asked myself, like, what do they have that I don't have? And I started to ask people questions. At this time, 10 years ago, Amber's mom, she had started the OPTAVIA program and lovingly interrupted our lives. And we needed an interruption. And that interruption was just in the form of an invitation to look at OPTAVIA, and we actually resisted the invitation for about a year. And after a year, we were kind of rock bottom. And we said, you know what, we're going to do this. And within just a few short months, me changing my physical health rapidly, but also being part of the community, we recognized that all of the things that were getting other people through, the skills and the knowledge and the mindset and things like this, they were getting people through their challenges, was what OPTAVIA was offering to us. So we've made a massive change in the last decade. And one thing I will say in regards to that, a lot of times we're in an instant gratification world. We're drive-through, microwave, whatever you want to say. People overestimate what they can do in, say, a year, and they drastically underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. I look back at this last decade, and I'm amazed by the phenomenal changes in our personal lives, in our kids, in all the relationships we have in our finances, our marriage, everything, because we just chose to engage in the process and just do those daily consistent things. Absolutely.
And here's the thing, is in our country right now, our story is not, rare, where we found ourselves overweight, stressed out, really unhealthy finances. And if you look at the health epidemic that's going on in our country, and even if you just look at the percentage of adults 20 years and over who are just struggling with being overweight, 70.7%. And we were in these categories, you guys. And like Jared said, it was hard to exercise when you're carrying that extra weight. It's hard to try to sleep better and just to have the energy to have quality time with family and friends. And we were so lucky to have found OPTAVIA 10 years ago. But it started much, much sooner than that.
So our parent company has been around since 1980. An immense amount of clinical backing, medical backing, and as you see on the screen, in both 2016 and 2017, we were named as one of America's most trustworthy companies. Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson is our founder and medical director, and he was really a pioneer in the world of critical care. Excellent physician. And his wife actually told us a story one time that said that in the hospital they worked in, a lot of the nurses and medical staff kind of jokingly said, hey, we're going to get tattoos that on our body that says, in case of an emergency, take my body to Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, right? So he, but his life changed. He loved being a doctor. But after he met and married his wife, Lori, and they had two beautiful little girls, Savannah and Erica, and they're now beautiful big girls. But
they're not big.
They're grown. Sorry, I'm never supposed to say that. You don't call them big. I'm sorry. Slip of the tongue. So he went from this place of success and fulfillment to this place of still being successful, but he was depressed because he wanted to organize his life around his family and about this new part of his life that was so important to him. Also, medically, he saw that he was really far downstream. He was catching people at the end or close to the end where he was just saving their lives. And he wanted to move upstream and actually help people be well in their lives. So he's still a medical doctor today, but he moved way upstream and founded OPTAVIA, and in the last couple of decades have made a huge impact, far more than he ever did as a physician, and he'll tell you that.
And I love that OPTAVIA, one of the things that we focus on is lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And we really provide an environment for people to come in and to have a turnkey health program that helps them just right out of the gates to be able to start getting their healthy body in line. And we have our education system that helps people to start getting their mindset in line. And then having this community of other people surrounding you. I mean, it just, our 4 components, they work together to just make a huge difference for people.
So the first component is every single client has their own personal OPTAVIA coach. I say it this way a lot of times. Most people have been on a road trip in their life, right? I took some road trips, like traveling home to see family and stuff during college years and stuff by myself. It was terrible. It was like you blast the music and stuff like that, but it's just not fun. It's way more fun to have someone in the car. And so that's what your coach is. They're there to be your co-pilot, so they can work the GPS. They can answer texts that are coming in, because it's not safe to text and drive. Don't try to run your GPS while you're driving and stuff. So let your coach do that. Let them be along to just be that guide and make the process safe for you.
I love that. And our Habits of Health system, it's made the biggest difference. I know for Jared and myself, when we read Dr. A's Habits of Health book, that's when we were, I don't know, convinced is the best word I can come up with, that we were like, this is everything that we believe in. This is a sound program based on science. Scientific evidence is based on real, true principles of long-term success. And I love that it's not just about teaching you that salads are healthier than hamburgers, because most of us know that, but it's breaking it down. You're learning about glycemic index, you're learning about balancing blood sugars, but you're also diving into the behavioral modification side of things and tapping into that mindset, which honestly, that's what makes the biggest difference.
A better word than convinced would probably be awakened.
I like that better. I like that.
It's a word that Dr. Anderson uses all the time. We're awakened to the possibilities and the path. We ask people a lot of questions as coaches, and there's 4 very common questions that we'll ask people. What is it that you want? What do you want with your health? What do you want with your life? What do you want with your relationships? Whatever it is, what do you want? Number 2, why do you want it? Why is that an emotional attachment or draw for you? Number 3, do you know the path? Do you know the program? Do you know the plan that's going to help you get there? A quote that I love is from a gentleman by the name of David Biscott. He says, our ultimate goal in life is to become our best self. The immediate goal in life is to simply get on the path. So that's what we're giving people the opportunity for. We're giving them that path. 4th question is, who's going to help you get there? We don't accomplish anything in life really on our own. Even people who are out on center stage in the greatest halls in the world, playing instruments and stuff like that, they look like they're alone out there, right? But they've had hours and hours and hours of teaching and mentorship and coaching, and parents who supported them and drove them to their lessons and all these things. We accomplish so much more together.
Well, that's what's so key about our OPTAVIA community. And I think so many times in life, we get stuck in this mindset that we have to do it ourselves. Oh, if I have health, then it doesn't count. You know, I literally had a client say that once, and I was like, what does that even mean?
What? If you used your laundry machines, it doesn't count because your laundry machines did the work for you? They helped you out? Instead of beating them against rocks and stuff? Like, it still counts for me. My clothes are far cleaner.
You guys, I think it counts for more, because you can get a whole lot more done when you have tools like having a coach, having a community, having the education, having the Fuellings. So it just makes the biggest difference. And the Fuellings, all of them are like my favorite part, but I love the Fuellings. You guys, I remember back when I was going to try to start losing weight and getting healthy and thinking, you know what? I wish that someone would just tell me exactly what to eat And I wish that they would just bring it to my doorstep and hand it to me. And then when we found OPTAVIA, I was like, what? This is what they do.
It's a pretty little bow on top.
I love it. My box is open. Oh, how can I sign up for that?
I'll get it at the door and I'll put a bow on it for you.
Love it. I will hold you to that. So the Fuellings, this is the cool thing. We're learning a principle of eating 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours. We're learning principles of drinking our water, eating nutrient-dense food. You guys, this is not about dieting and trying to not eat anything at all. This is literally about eating all day long and pouring good nutrition into your body. It's so much of a different mindset than what you see out there. I love that our Fuellings, they are protein carb balance. It's scientifically proven nutritional profile. Not just once. I've heard from so many people that, do I have to eat these Fuellings for the rest of my life? Like literally when I'm biting into my brownie at night and I'm like, Jared, can I eat these for the rest of my life? Like, I don't even know how I would live without my Fuellings. They balance me out so well. So, okay, we've talked enough. We want to bring on an amazing couple who has had such an amazing transformation, and we want them to share their story. Blaine and Brenda, go ahead and take yourself off mute, and let's hear a little bit from you.
Hey, Amber, thanks so much. As Amber said, my name is Brenda Smith. This is my husband, Blaine. We were actually introduced the other night at an event as Blenda. So if you'd like to call us Blenda, we will also answer to that. We are so excited and truly honored to be here tonight on this call, not only as clients, but as OPTAVIA coaches to share what we've learned in our love. So part of my story, I'll just start off. We were married young, like many of you faced the challenges of life. Being a wife and a mother, I put taking care of the family over me and my health. I found myself 30 pounds overweight. And soon after that, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was taking metformin to treat the symptoms and the effects that came along with that disease. My life, as I am sure that many of you can relate, can get very busy with 4 kids, ages 25 to 13. So we're in kind of a wide range. But I love that this health plan is spelled out for me step by step. I didn't have to create something and then plan it and then fix it and then all of that. It's all created for me to follow. So easy. I knew I wanted to make changes in my life, but I just wasn't quite sure how to do that. I didn't like how run down I felt all the time. I was always tired, and frankly, I was just really uncomfortable in my own skin. After watching the success of my best friend here, my husband, and the freedoms that he gained early on in the program, I thought, what do I have to lose? So I started my health journey in September of 2018. And by November, I had lost 35 pounds. Results not typical, yes. But I loved the energy. I was going to say Energizer because I feel like the Energizer Bunny. I love talking to everyone about the program and anyone who will listen. I love all 4 components, as Amber and Jared have talked about, but I think my favorite is the community. I feel like if I ever had a problem or a question that I needed solved, I could reach out to anyone in the community and they would support me like family. I just feel so loved and so supported. So as a mother and a wife, I think I put myself at the bottom of the list most of the time when it came to taking care of myself and what was good for me. So this program has taught me that I need to be there for not only my family, but for me. And not only physically, but mentally too, to get me healthy. It's also taught me that it's not selfish to take care of myself. I can do that for me too. I'm so grateful for this health program and the life that it's given back to me and my family. And I love it so much that I decided to be a health coach about 2 weeks into my journey. So maybe mid-September, decided to do that and haven't looked back yet.
Yeah, so just a little bit about my story. I before I started the program, I was 430 pounds. I was having a lot of back problems, trouble walking, couldn't stand for more than a couple of minutes without my legs going numb. I'd had both of my hips, surgery on those to see if that would help with that. And I was looking at bariatric surgery to try to, just as any kind of a solution. It was interesting listening to the Habits Health call, listening to Brittany and John, because I remember being nervous if we would go to a restaurant, them seating us in a booth, because if the booth would move, I could push it over onto the other side and let them deal with a little less space. But if not, it was going to be pretty tough. So I was in a pretty rough spot. And I think for me, I knew the things that I needed to eat healthier. I knew I needed to do things, but it was just so hard. And so, Amber, when you talk about the Fuellings, the ease of that has been so great for me. And then the accountability of having a health coach made all the difference, having somebody that was there to support me all along the way. Coaching has been an amazing experience for us, because the mindset shift that started when we started our journey has just been enhanced. We've been able to rub shoulders with just amazing people that are there to support us and help us, and been able to support them as well. And the personal development that we've had has just, I think, helped us move more to becoming our best selves. So I think through coaching and through this program, we've become, our relationships are better. We've become better parents, better friends, a better spouse, and the fulfillment has been great. So anyway, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, you guys. I mean, so inspiring. A lot of times what we can see is when people lose the weight, but what we can't see is exactly what you guys were talking about, is that support that we get with community, the mindset shifts that start happening. That is really what OPTAVIA is all about.
I want to share real quickly. I was having a conversation with Blaine a while back, and he shared a big shift with me. He's always seen himself as a man of integrity. He kept his word to everybody else. And he's like, I realized that I wasn't really keeping my word to myself. And so that's where integrity starts. I mean, Brenda talked about it a little bit. I've seen through 18 years of being a parent myself that the greatest way to teach your kids is by example, right? And I don't know a parent, I've never had a conversation with a parent yet that said that isn't the greatest way to teach your kids, is by example. But if we don't care for ourselves, what kind of example is that setting for them? Kids become like their parents because of that example. If we just devote every minute of every single day to our children, they may see that we're great at attending to all their needs and stuff, but they're going to grow up and be just like us. So I ask people all the time, do you want your kids, do you want your son or your daughter to grow up and be just like you? And most people are like, no, I want them to be happier. I want them to be better. I want them to be healthier. I want them in all areas of health. So thank you guys for sharing that, because you guys have taught us a lot in this process, and we're glad to have you part of the community.
Well, and to Jared's point, the trilogy of optimal health, that could be generational, and not just our healthy bodies, but our healthy minds, healthy body, and healthy finances all contribute. When any one of those or two or three are out of whack, it's really not optimal health. And this is what I love. Blaine and Brenda talked about some of the benefits that they've seen by becoming coaches too. And this top one, I think this is one of the biggest, is it really reinforces your decision to be healthy. It takes that to the next level where you go, I'm really committed to this. And paying it forward, it makes a huge difference for others, for people in your community, for friends and family, for people you don't even know yet. That is what has blown my mind in the last 10 years of coaching, is some of my favorite people are people that I've met through coaching. And it's fun. It's very rewarding. The company actually pays you to link arms with people to focus yourself on health and to say, come along with me. And really, like Jared said, leaving a legacy for your children and having a better life.
So we have a progressive business model, growth model. We start out as OPTAVIA coaches. We a lot of us focus on helping our friend or a family member or somebody who has noticed the beginning stages of our transformation. And then we have the opportunity to become business coaches. Many of those people, they're going to have the same experience. People are going to notice their transformation. And then we get to link arms with them and assist them in the process of training them how to coach and be support to their clients. As a business leader, we have the opportunity to develop business coaches and other leaders. So we get compensated and blessed at every single stage of that growth.
And I love that our model is a relational model. We're focused on optimal well-being. This isn't about selling a product, or it's really whole health programs. And that's what I love about it. We're all self-employed and we're independent. And that's a great thing because you can set your own hours, and it does require work to become a health coach. And that's a good thing because we need to work. We need to work on ourselves. We need to work on our long-term health. I love that you can do this full-time or part-time, whatever fits with you already. I know that both Blaine and Brenda have other full-time jobs. And Jared and I both had full-time jobs when we began OPTAVIA. And it's very low startup. There's no inventory. There's no big overhead, paying employees. I'll tell you, we both own businesses, and that is just that's a blessing to not have to deal with that. It's flexible. Jared and I took our kids to Hawaii, and we're able to just maybe make a quick phone call to our clients from the beach. They're like, "Don't call me. Go play at the beach." And I'm like, "No, I want to hear about your week. Like, I love these calls."
Yeah, 3.5 years ago, we found out that Amber had a benign brain tumor. And so we both support clients, and I was calling all of her clients while she was in recovery for about 2 or 3 months. And every single week when I call her clients and my clients, they didn't even want to talk about them. They're like, "I'm doing great. I had a great week. How's Amber doing?" And they become, it's reciprocal support. They're as much of a support in our lives as we are to them. And just absolute blessing to be part of people's lives.
I agree. I mean, it's unlike anything we've ever done. And so if you're thinking of starting as a coach, here's your next steps. We have a training system. You just need to raise your hand and tell your coach you're ready. You're ready to start helping other people. We help you at your own pace. We have a set system, and you just follow it and go at your own speed. We have events, we have training. There's so much to offer coaches who come into our family, and it's more like a family than just a work environment. So we hope that you'll consider joining our OPTAVIA mission and help the world create health and well-being. And honestly, if it's not for you, it may or may not be for you right now. But if it's not, maybe start thinking about who would benefit from being part of our OPTAVIA family as a client or as a coach. Who in your life could really benefit from having more people surrounding them and helping them and moving them forward. So we just want to thank you guys. Thanks, Blaine and Brenda, for sharing your story, and thank you for joining tonight to learn a little bit more about what it means to become part of OPTAVIA at a higher level and paying it forward to others.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.